All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us back on another Modern Agent Blueprint. We are here with my co-host, Nikki Wolf, and our amazing guest today, Jimmy Nelson. So Jimmy is kind of like the epitome of real estate here in Ann Arbor, in Michigan. Ann Arbor too, right? He is a amazing guy. I see him at all these events. He always has like his little entourage around him, and everyone always has good things to say about him. And Marissa who's my other, sidekick over here. You see her a lot on here. She suggested that we brought you on today, and you have an awesome plan for us today. So I'm gonna put it right over to you and let you go ahead, do your own little intro and get right to it.
Awesome. I appreciate that so much. And Marissa, thanks for that. Hopefully they were kind words. I don't know. We'll see. But now
Mostly.
there's pressure. Now there's pressure involved. Now I got to like perform here, right? So, but no, and I have had the luxury and the privilege of being able to, be speakers at events and do a couple of different things. But I do have the Elite Real Estate Podcast, which airs live every Friday morning at 7:30 Eastern time. But you can find it wherever you find podcasts. So it's the Elite Real Estate Podcast. I run a team over here in Michigan as well, the Elite team, and I've created what's the Elite Edge Network, and it's one of the things that I've really kind of crafted over the last year and a half probably of everything that we've put together. So I've been coaching and building 90-day business plans and business plans for agents. And it's funny, that's how I got into the industry, was actually as a coach. I got hired as a coach by some other company before coming over here. But before I even had my real estate license, I got hired as a real estate coach. So apparently I'm doing something right. I don't know what it is, but we'll figure it out today. But we've also taken this business planning thing, and one of the deep dives I've been on for the last year and a half was obviously we have AI now, right? And AI has become so big in everything we do, and everybody talks about it. But one of the things that I see a lot of agents do, and I'm 52, I had to learn a lot of this stuff, on the fly here. But I've had a lot of agents, they do their, that's where I do my listing descriptions, which is great, right? But like for some of us that have dove into this, we really know that that's not even it's not even really the tip of the iceberg. That's just like a sliver of ice. That's not even the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is incredible. So, but what I've done over the last year and a half is really implemented AI with my coaching, and I've been a coach for 20 years, and now implementing the AI with this is kind of, I've come up with what's called Human Plus. And one of the things I'm going to share with you all today is exactly that, is exactly what we've come up with is a 90-day business plan. We're getting towards the end of the year. How are we going to finish the year? And more importantly, how are we going to, again, kick off the start of 2026, which becomes really important for us as agents, right? It's how we end this year to take us into the beginning of next year. Because what we do over the next 30 days, well, we're even less than that now because we're at December 9th. So what are we doing over the next 30 days? And then to really kick and launch us off into this first quarter of 2026, and to make, look, 2026, in my opinion, is going to be a phenomenal year for real estate. We, those of us that have been through these last couple years, congratulations, you got through it. It's been, some of it's been a struggle, some of it hasn't, but at the same time, if you've gotten through it, congratulations, you got through it. And we're going to get into this today about how do we do this? One, how are we utilizing AI in this? And I'm going to give you some prompts that you can actually take today, plug into your ChatGPT. I'm not promoting ChatGPT. It's just what I use. I love it. It's become just kind of, there's not a day that goes by that I don't log into it, probably at least 3 to 5 times, that I have it on my phone, that something pops in my head or something comes up in business that I can just plug it in. I actually worked on it this morning, just a little while ago. I was texting back and forth with the client. I had a client, we're delaying closing now. This is the third time we've delayed the closing. Now we're delaying from today till Thursday. So it's just like, but I literally went in there today and said, help me write a text message to my client. I explained the situation, and it helped me craft this text message that I needed to send to my client, because again, I don't really want to make them mad over this whole thing. So, but what this success sprint is going to be is about Even we're going to get into your systems, your processes. How do you do things? But the good thing is too, I also have a workbook. So if you scan this QR code right now, and I'll put the we'll put the thing in links too, the
Yeah,
link in the
I'll put
comments.
a link in the chat too.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, so this at workbook will actually just work through what we're going to talk about today. But we're going to talk about SMART goals, how we're planning this out, our 90-day plan, what your daily routine is going to be. But we're also going to talk about how AI is going to help you get through all of these things individually. Plus, in the workbook, there are prompts that you're going to be able to actually take, plug into your chat, and go from there. So that will help you get through all these things. So most of us that have been in the business long enough and been around and been in masterminds and everything else, we've all heard about SMART goals. If you haven't heard about SMART goals, you can raise your hand and we can talk about it a little bit more in depth. But really, SMART goals are just really boiled down to are they specific? Are they measurable? Are they attainable? Are they relevant and relatable? And are they timed? Right? So, SMART goals, we like to think about different things, but again, are they specific? We all say we want goals. And I hope everybody on here has been tracking goals throughout the year. And again, as we're winding up towards the end of the year, what goals have you met your goals? Have you had to move the goalposts to try to meet your goals? Have you changed things and done different things? What are you close to your goals or not? Or are you tracking them at all? But again, we want to get very specific with our goals. I can say, I want to make $100,000 next year. Okay. That's a very specific goal. That's great. But then the next thing is measuring it. How do we measure success as we're getting close to it? On a daily basis, are we keeping track of what it looks like daily to get to that goal? So is it measurable? It is measurable, but how do we measure it? Is it attainable? And that's one of the biggest questions that we have to ask ourselves because, again, we lie to ourselves more than we lie to anybody. And, is it attainable? Can I actually do it? And if I do, what does it mean? Or if I make 90,000, is that okay? Right? Or is it 105? We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into actual numbers today as we go through this. But is it attainable? Is it relevant? What's it going to do for me? Right? If most agents will tell me, especially newer ones, will say, "Oh, I want to make $100,000 next year." Great. What does that mean for you? Why is it relevant to you? What is it? Am I on a vacation? Am I looking for investment property? Right? Am I making my portfolio bigger? What am I doing? Why is that relevant? And then is it timed? Right? Because if it's not timed, if I say I want to make it in a year, how do I know if I'm getting closer to that? How do I know if I'm getting farther away from it? So that's why we're going to boil this down time today. And again, I'm going to move through this quick, but if you guys have questions at the end of this, let me know, or we can set up times that we can talk at another point too. But, so like not a SMART goal is like here, like if we were to say like, we're going to keep our team's website up to date, or I'm going to keep mine as an individual agent, I'm going to keep my website up to date. What does that mean? Right? But a specific one would be, I'm going to, every Friday from 11 to 12, it's going to be my time to sit down, update my website, put everything on there that I need. It's going to be done every Friday. So each time is new material published. What am I going to put on there? What's going to be on that website? What's going to be relevant? So that is a specific goal for updating my website. So as we're boiling these things down, we'll see how that works. So here's where your homework comes in. And this is where a lot of agents kind of get lost in the weeds, so to speak, when I give this workbook. Because I can say, all right, so you have a very specific goal. Is it SMART, right? Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it attainable? Is it relevant? And is it time-based? And so a lot of agents will start to fill this out, and they may or may not reach back out to me to fill this out, but that's okay. But I also have figured out I don't want to leave them empty-handed. So on the next page, we're going to talk about a prompt for your ChatGPT that will help you figure out if these are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time. All right. So as you go through this, I want you to go back and fill this out and start writing some of these things down as you're going through this. But here's the prompt for you. Okay? Here's the AI goal builder template for you for your SMART goals. So I'm going to just read it out. So you're my real estate performance strategist. Here are my raw business goals for the next 90 days. So you insert your goals there, whatever that is. If it's a monetary number, or if it's I want 6 closings, or if it's I want whatever that raw goal is, insert that there. Then rewrite each goal as a SMART real estate specific goal. Then for each goal, break it down into a 90-day outcome, weekly action plan, daily non-negotiables, my KPIs, potential roadblocks and how I can prevent them, and AI prompts I should use weekly to optimize or course correct. So literally just copy this, plug it in, insert your goals there, and let it do its thing. And you guys will find, again, this is going to, and what's going to happen is chat may come back and ask you a few questions about your business. So as chat comes back and asks you questions about your business, here's where the next phase of this comes in. And the biggest pro tip I can give you as far as using chat goes, or whatever AI you're using. When it asks you questions back, answer them in your voice. Don't type them out. It's a big step because now what chat's going to start doing is learning your tone, your tempo, your voice. We tend to type differently than we talk. So if you start to just talk back to it and answer the questions that it asks, it's going to start to learn you a little bit better. And then it's going to start to help guide you as it's building out your SMART goals here. It's going to give you a better idea and it's going to start to hear you and give you better ideas of how it's going to build for you. So the AI prompts I should use weekly to optimize or course correct is very important because now what you're starting to build is actually a coach inside of your AI, right? Because it's going to help course correct. It's going to help figure out where am I going wrong here if I'm not hitting my numbers. And the KPIs to track specific to real estate metrics I should monitor. Now, it may come back and ask you a question there, like what specific ones are you looking for? Now you can start to answer it. It's going to start to build out this plan for you. Does this make sense to everybody so far? Okay. And again, like this is to help build out your SMART goals. So you're going to check one check mark off your list today of how do I build out SMART goals? This is it. This is the could be a very big game changer for everybody on here because like I said, a lot of times when I leave agents with this workbook, they don't know how to build the SMART goals. Well, now AI is helping me help you come up with your SMART goals. And one of the next things we're going to talk about, and again, I'm just literally just following the same workbook along this way I made this presentation, is we talk about finances a lot. Financially, where do I want to be? How much money do I want to make? But then again, when I have one-on-one coaching sessions with agents, one of the first things I ask is why, right? Why does that number make sense to you? If it's 100,000, which most people say, why isn't it 110 or 115 or why isn't it 85? I've told the story a couple different times about, we were coaching a girl down in Florida. An elderly woman, actually. She was an agent on a team, and her team almost wanted to get rid of her because she wasn't making 100,000. And so when we talked to her about it and sat down with her, she said, "I don't need to make 100,000. The only reason I'm doing real estate at all is I want to pay for my grandkids to go to Disney World." Because she lived in Florida, so all she wanted to do was pay for her flights and for Disney World for her grandkids. That was it. So once we relieved that stress of her of not having to worry about making 100,000, just making the number she wanted, she actually started making 100,000 because it took the pressure off of her of trying to drive to that. But we also talked about this gap income and what these numbers actually mean. So one of the things as you're going through this and fill this out, this is a great thing to fill out with a spouse, a significant other as well, right? Because for both of you to fill out so you get on the same page with finances, because a lot of times we're not. Don't tell my wife that I have a different credit card. But what is the minimum income needed in order to survive? So that's a survival number. So the extra car and the Corvette and the extra house and all, like those aren't what my survival number. My survival number is like, what's my mortgage? What's my current car payment? Like, what's my insurance? All that stuff, and that becomes like my number to survive. And then where would I want to be in 12 months from now? Do I want to have my debt paid down, a new house, a new car? Like, what does that look like? Then the third one there is how much business income do I have coming in? Right? How much do I actually have coming in? This is another part you got to get really honest with yourself. Where this is sometimes not an easy conversation, even with ourselves, of how much business do I have actually coming in, and is there any other income? Right? The other income is, do I have rental houses? Anything other than that? Do I have other income coming in? And then what is the difference? So to calculate this, you take the number of total number for number 4 and number 3 and subtract number 2. All right. So literally, if you just follow this down, it's going to give you what that difference is. Then again, now we got to get into these other numbers. What are my business expenses annually? And again, realtors, we have business expenses. Depending on you got broker fees, you've got board dues, you've got signs, marketing, whatever you're spending on real estate is what your business expenses are, right? If you bought business cards this year, that was a business expense. If you bought new signs this year, right? If you're paying for any kind of marketing, right? If you're paying for any kind of marketing, that's a business expense. So don't forget these little things. This is where a lot of agents have holes in their boat and they don't realize a lot of money's going out. So start tracking that. Where are my business expenses annually? What's your average commission amount? This is another number, another KPI that you need to figure out, because you can increase this, right? If you're prospecting daily, if you're prospecting at a specific level of price of home, you can go up, right? Go up to the luxury level if you need to then you can change what that average commission amount is. But look, we all sell everything, right? There's not a house that's going to come in that Nicole's going to go, I don't want to sell that house. It's like, no, I'll put my house, right? I'll sell it. No big deal. So find out what your average is. Then your listing appointments you went on. And again, if these are zeros, it's okay. It's okay. If these are zeros right now, that's fine. Don't worry about it. They're low. You don't have to show these numbers to anybody that you don't want to. I suggest showing them to someone though, just because this is where like accountability comes in. Okay. So just following this down, filling out your numbers is going to be really important to carry this through. All right. Now, this is where we get to the show me the money part. Your net income plus your operating expenses plus your cost of sale, that equals your total gross income divided by your average commission equals how many total files closed. All right. Now, there's arrows that are going to follow through this, and these arrows are in the workbook too. So don't get too confused on me. And then I am going to show you how AI is going to help us figure this out too. But you have to put the raw numbers in. So the listing side by side, right? How many listings did you sell? How many buy sides did you sell? Your sold conversion rate, your sold conversion rate, your appointment conversion rate, right? 12 months in a year divided by 4 weeks per month gets you down to these. So this gets you to your nurtures. And now you can just start filling these numbers out. And again, these arrows will guide you through how to get to that, which comes down to your total number of contacts per day. So this is built off of the number that you're putting in, the number that you want to make, and how we're going to figure out that gap income. But what we do know is for every 100 contacts, we anticipate 7 nurtures. And for every 7 nurtures, we expect 1 appointment. So I know it sounds really confusing. I went through that pretty fast. But those numbers are all real raw numbers that will get you to how many contacts do I need per day? And what does that look like? How does that make me feel as I get through this numbers per day? Because if I look at this over a year, it's pretty scary because they're very big numbers. But if I boil it down to a day, they're not so bad. So here's your next AI prompt. And that's a long one. But this is what's going to change the game for you as an agent. So act as my real estate income strategist. I want to hit an income goal of whatever your income goal is in the next 90 days. Okay? So don't think about this in a year. Think about this, what I want to do in the next 90 days. Okay? Before you calculate appointment targets, ask me all the questions you need so your numbers are accurate and customized to my business. Ask me one question at a time and start by asking what was your income in the last 90 days and what did your lead flow look like? And see, this is another really one we have to get really honest with ourselves and say, what was my lead flow the last 90 days? And what was my income the last 90 days? Because what's really hard, and again, as a coach, this is what I say when I sit down with agents. When agents tell me I want to make 100,000 next year, great. I go back to the starting point of what did you make last year? Then can we start to say, can I make 100? Are you willing to do the work that it's going to do to make that much money? Or do we have to adjust our SMART goals based on what we're willing to do? So again, that's going to come into what does it look like the last 90 days? Then continue asking questions about the following areas to build an accurate AI gap analysis. So average commission per transaction. It's going to start asking you these questions. And again, this is where I stress to you all, take the time here and talk to it. Okay? Just hit the dictate button on it and talk to it. So as you go through all these, your gap analysis, then it's like once you have enough information, generate the following. The total appointments needed weekly to hit my goal, my listing appointment targets versus buyer appointments. And you can change this if you want. If you want to focus more on listings than buyers, feel free to adjust your numbers in here, and it's going to tell you exactly what to do. But you're going to then we're going to get to the point of I have to do this, right? So don't think this is going to give you the plan. And this is going to put it all into perspective for you. But then at some point, we have to then do this. Okay. So all these different things. So you can, and then when you're done, ask me, do you want me to help you build your weekly scorecard and daily action plan based on this? Because then it will build you a PDF based on what your weekly action plan will, a scorecard that you can keep score with to then continue on with what does this look like? How am I going to do this? Which takes us into our next phase of the success sprint is what is my
Yep, because the emergencies come in, things change. I'm gonna say that weather probably didn't. So.
Is there a question in there? Okay.
No, she was off mute. I fixed it.
Okay. So if anybody's got questions or whatever, you can throw them in chat or just interrupt me and that's fine. But as we're building this out, so now we've got kind of our SMART goals, our financial goals, and what we want to hit with our financial goals. But now we're going to get into how do we actually do this? And the how becomes in my daily routine. What does my daily routine look like? So I've put a calendar in here of kind of an easy structure, right? And an example of what should my day look like. Now, what I have in there is dial time. Now, if you're not a dialer, that's okay. People prospect for business a million different ways. But that 9 to 12 time, that 3 hours should be your protected prospecting time. Say that 3 times fast. Protected prospecting time, right? So that's when you're getting your business. That's when you're going to find business. You're hunting and gathering. You're getting business. You know, people will tell me, oh, I'm going to do it through social media. Great. Plenty of people do it. How are you going to do that? It can't be just by posting it every day, right? It's got to be, again, that reach out. If, you know, one of the biggest things I suggest all the time with social media is, this is an advice for you all too, is if I post something on social media, right? So recently I had an open house, so I posted on the open house. Well, then I watched who was liking it and commenting on it, And I reached out directly to those people and said, hey, are you thinking about doing something with real estate? Some said maybe, some said no, some said they just liked the post, whatever. But I DM'd directly to them and said, hey, are you thinking about doing something in real estate? So when I put something on my social medias about real estate, then I reach right back out to them through a DM and say, hey, have you thought about doing anything in real estate? Are you in the market for anything? Or do you know someone that is? Right? So that's prospecting through social media. So anytime that people are just liking your post or commenting on it, then go back, just direct message them. Or if you have their number, call them and say, hey, thanks for liking that post. Is there anything going on with real estate right now? If you have any thoughts about anything, are you doing anything with it? And then go from there. So that 9 to 12 time should be your protected prospecting time, right? And then you see I have 12 to 1 there, lunch and social media. Because one of the biggest things we do with social media is waste our freaking time with it. We waste so much time on it. Guilty as charged too. But if I don't limit my time on there during the day, then you're 3 hours into videos of people falling down and bumping their head, and they're hilarious, but it's not helping me make any money. So again, that's my lunch, social media. That means I get in. There's 5 things to do in social media. Post something, share somebody's post, like somebody's post, comment on somebody's post, and reply to comments on yours. And by doing those 5 things, it changes your algorithms and puts you and refreshes you a lot faster. So that's what I suggest, like at lunchtime, is get in there, eat your lunch, hop in there, do those 5 things, hop back out. Then that 1 to 2 time is my follow-up. The 2 to 3 is, those are my times now I'm hitting my sphere, my top 50. If you haven't built out a top 50 list yet, maybe you don't have a top 50 list. I don't know how long you've been in the business. But if you've been in the business for any length of time, you may have a top 10 list or a top 20 list. And those are the people that I've helped buy a house or helped sell their house. They're going to refer me all the time. But those are the people I take care of. That top 50 list, and it may be, like I said, maybe a top 10 list. It might be a top 1 list right now. But as you build that out, that top 50 list, they're the ones that get your invites to your events. They're the ones that get holiday cards. They're the ones that get dollar scratch-offs in the mail. Those are the ones that get special attention from me. That's my top 50. My partners on Wednesday, anybody that has anything to do with a house, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, carpet guys, whatever, cleaning people, those are my partners. I want to have touch base with them. Thursdays, I have an hour built in for social media building. And then Fridays, always my client checkups. So that's anybody that's in process right now, I'm checking up with. And then after 3 o'clock, those are appointments, showings, my kids' basketball games. Like, that's it. That's my time. So again, goes back to scheduling. The more you're scheduled, the better off you are, the more free time you actually get back in your day. So I have a blank there now that you're able to fill out as well. But now again, I get that same question of, how do I fill this out? What do I do? Oh my gosh. But now we have AI that helps us fill this out. So there's another AI prompt for you to keep building this momentum and keep building out what you've gone. So act as my AI lead generation engine. Before you create scripts, follow-up sequences, or content calendars, ask me all the questions you need so you can fully understand my market, my strengths, my tone, and my lead sources. Ask me one question at a time. So this is where am I lead genning at? How am I getting my leads? What's my market? What's my location? What's my ideal client? And again, I'm glad you guys had me on this time of year, because this is a perfect time of year to do this. Because it's going to take a couple days. You could take, especially that there's that weird time that we all have between Christmas and New Year's that nobody knows what day it is. And, we're all just kind of like half drunk every day, and we're just kind of wandering around shopping and returning things and eating. I don't know. But so those are the days you can take to do some of these things and kind of like get them really programmed up for the beginning of 2026. So again, one of the questions in here, even like most of the way down, is my current level of confidence on the phone. What is your current level of confidence on the phone? Is it high? Is it low? And be honest, right? You can have this conversation with chat. and just talk to it. It's gonna give you great feedback. It's gonna give you actual ideas here of what your lead gen time will look like. What is it? If it is social media, if it is door knocking, whatever it is, this will help guide you through to help you build out where your lead gen is coming from, right? And then as we're talking about scheduling, your 90-day business plan. Over the next 90 days, I'm going to be committed to, what am I going to be committed to? What are the 3 areas I need to focus on? And again, these are just examples, but this last one is not an example. When I write what challenges will get in my way, leave me in there. Because it's not me that's going to get in your way, it's going to be you, but that's me because you're writing it, not me. So, but that's the only person that's going to get in your way. If you truly are setting goals that will help you and reach whatever you want to reach, the only person that's going to get in your way is you. Now, as we look down at the 90-day goals, so I wrote these in. So these are examples, right? My 90-day goals examples. So I wrote in number of closed transactions at 9, money earned 54,000. I want 3 new listings. It's going to be 66 buyer appointments. I'm going to need 1,980 contacts. It's going to make, I'm going to have to do 198 hours of prospecting, and I'm going to be prospected for 66 days. Because if you guys remember, when I wrote down the daily routine, that's Monday through Friday. So in a 90-day cycle, it's about 22 days a month, taking the weekends out. So that puts us at 66 days. Okay. So that's why I'm saying prospecting for 66 days leads me to these numbers. Now, if I look at, you guys can agree or disagree with it, but if I say to you in the next 90 days, I need you to get 1,980 contacts, who's a little intimidated by that number? Right? So I was a little intimidated by that number. Now, if I were to say I need you to prospect for 198 hours in the next 90 days, same kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Sounds cool to make that much money, but I don't know. But now I'm going to make it easier on you all. Look down at the daily and what it says down there at the daily. That's 3 hours of prospecting time. That's 30 contacts a day. That's 3 conversations and 1 appointment a daily. Because we know it's a numbers game, and we know not every appointment is going to lead to a closed transaction. We would love it to, but not every appointment is going to lead to a closed transaction. Not every conversation. See, this is a contact sport. So we have to remember that real estate is a contact sport. So, and remember, I want you guys to think, to get into your mind, think about this. A contact is someone that says hello. A contact is somebody at the gas station that I told them I'm a real estate agent, and they said great, and we didn't even exchange information. I just told them, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Nice to meet you. Blah blah blah. That's a contact. Okay. If I'm prospecting on the phone and somebody says hello, and I say, hey, this is Jimmy Nelson calling from Elite Real Estate. Blah blah blah. Click. They hang up. That's a contact. It's not a conversation, but I only need 3 conversations a day. And a conversation is anything that lasts more than 2 minutes. Okay? A conversation is anything that lasts more than 2 minutes. I've got a lot of bad jokes to say about that. I'm not going to say them. We're getting towards the holidays, right? Anything that lasts longer than 2 minutes. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. But, so again, though, that it comes back to my scheduling. How am I scheduling this? What is my prospecting time? What is all my time going to look like? And guess what we have? We've got another AI prompt for you that's going to tell you exactly how to help build out your schedule. Now, the cool thing about this is you can, when you're done with the AI prompt, was after you gather enough information, generate the following. A fully optimized daily schedule aligned with my energy and availability, a success sprint driven lead gen block, focused time and clear objectives, suggested time blocks, right? My morning routine, my midday recalibration routine, my end of day shutdown routine, biggest time leaks and how to fix them. So you can just ask this. And then at the end of this, it says, do you want me to help you integrate this schedule into a weekly scorecard calendar automation system? It will also, if you tell chat to create this into a .ics form, it will do that. Then you can take it, load it into your calendar, and it will schedule your weeks for you. So again, sorry to tell you guys, I'm getting all the excuses out of your way. There is no more. I don't know how to build a schedule. I don't know how, it's hard for me to do this.
Jimmy,
We're
say
going to
that
ask
one
you how to
more
do it, and
time.
we're going to build it for you.
Break down that step one more time so they get this. And then what am I doing? Take away my excuse.
Yeah, so we're going to take away, so this idea of scheduling, how am I going to get these numbers, right? What's my schedule look like? So now my deliverable is going to be a fully optimized daily schedule aligned with my energy and my availability.
But then how did you put it? You said there's a tool to put it like in my calendar or my something. What was that piece?
Yep. So at the end of this, you have once you get through all this, right? And you decompress through all these things, right? How many nurture touches, my social media, my client service, all those things. When it's going to build out a calendar for you, you ask it to change it into a .ics form. Okay. So once you change it into a .ics form, it'll make that form for you. You can take that form, download it, and put it into your Google Calendar, and it'll fill out your calendar for you.
Gotcha. I think that's a critical piece because it's one thing to have everything in my chat GPT, right? I have 7,000 chats where I've prompted and reprompted and have every version of this, right? But the fact that you have something that can then put it on my calendar, which is where I make my appointments, I'm living off my calendar, right? I don't live out of my couple chats of my chat GPT. So that's how I decide what appointments I do, what actions I'm doing. So you putting it in there, I think, is a game changer. Like just having that quick extra, that last missing piece step to like implement it into your life. Don't just prompt it, implement it.
Exactly. And when I get through, I'll show you mine. I'll show you how I did it. But so once you build out this template, like again, Marissa's right. Again, you can do all these things. And look, I've got a billion things in my chat GPT. I mean, like some of it's really cool. Like I made pictures of myself that look like I'm a Terminator, right? Like, it's all great fun stuff. But the really important stuff, now that it's filled out my calendar, because I even built in recovery time for myself, right? Like when do I shut it down? When do I have recovery time? When can I, take time for my own oxygen mask? When can I breathe to be able to help my clients, to be able to help my family, do the things that I want to do? When is my time? And that's very important too. So as we get in this, but this is also in your book. So what your lead gen plan, what 3 to 5 lead sources are you going to focus on, and start to keep a score? Because this is going to go back to your KPIs. What am I actually doing, right? What numbers am I actually recording? Am I actually writing this thing down? So you can actually just write these down and keep these on your desk. Go, how many days did I work? How many appointments did I have? Your days prospected. And then again, down here at the bottom, just keeping an idea of how many totals that I do. And so in that workbook that I shared with you all, there's 3 pages. So that's month 1, month 2, and month 3. Okay. So you've got 3 months, which is 90 days. We talked about that. And then, all right, so then how do I do, that's my lead gen plan. That's how I'm going to track my KPIs. That's going to be my numbers. Now we're going to dive into this a little bit better, right? My lead gen builder. So this is going to build you some deliverables. This is going to build you out some really cool stuff. So custom scripts, 5 to 10 variations of each. Now you can change these if you want, or you can take some out. If you're not a FSBO dialer, take those. Don't ask it to make you FSBO, right? If you're not calling expireds, don't ask it to do the expireds. But if it's your online leads, if your open house invites, if it's your nurture scripts for long-term follow-up, it's your sphere and your seller focused objection handlers. These are going to give you what am I lead genning? How am I doing it? This is how. This is like, all right, these are my scripts. This is how I'm going to do it. Okay. This is how it's going to work. This is what it's going to do. All right. So keeping in mind that that's how we then the follow-up sequence. So if it's expired listing 7 to 14 day text sequence. So you can also use these in whatever CRM you're using, right? So whatever CRM you're using, you could actually then put in here what CRM you're using. If it's Follow Up Boss, if it's Bold Trail, if it's whatever one you're using, you can get specific in your chat here where it says my follow-up sequence is used in Bold Trail, or my follow-up sequence is used in Follow Up Boss. And then it'll start to help you build out those sequences built out specifically for whatever CRM you're using. You just have to put whatever CRM you're using there. So if I wanted my follow-up sequences to be in Bold Trail, it's gonna break it out specifically for that. Okay. So the more specific you get with chat or with any GPT you're using or with any AI you're using, this is where you can get very specific with it. All right. My lead gen optimization, AI prompts I should be using daily for lead gen. So you can see down here at the bottom, rewrite this script in my tone. Give me 5 seller focused post ideas about whatever topic it is. So again, these are prompts you can start to use to help you come up with some content too. And I'm going to share another one with you guys before we're done. And I'll throw it in the chat here in a minute. But this is how it's going to help you build your lead gen, which then leads us to our 90-day review, right? So once we get back and we can kind of put all these numbers into a number here, now we can take the numbers that we did at the beginning, which had helped build us our SMART goals. Now I can go back into that SMART goal one and say, all right, here's my actual numbers. Help me decide on what I made or missed. Okay. So those are all the things, right? So the AI has really changed the game it's gotten excuses out of the way, right? It's gotten a lot of excuses out of the way of, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to build this. I don't know what to put into it. And you can see like the more you put in as far as your prompts go, and some of you who have really been messing around with ChatGPT understand this, of the more it's garbage in, garbage out. So if I just put in, give me a listing description for 123 Main Street, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, it'll do that. But if I say, give me a listing description for 123 Main Street, it's in this subdivision, in this city, it's got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a fully furnished basement, mechanicals have been updated, this, that, and the other. Now you can see where my listing description is going to change. So again, going back to some of these prompts, you can see the more you put in, and if you were just to put this whole prompt in, you can, and it'll start to build out a whole program for you and how to build it and how your lead gen is going to be. But I will just implore you, like if you don't do FSBOs or expired, just take them out of there, because there's no need to waste the time if you're not going to do them, which is okay. It's fine. But then you can change that to social media and then get specific with it. Not just social media, LinkedIn. Get specific with LinkedIn. Get specific with Facebook. Get specific with Instagram. Get specific with TikTok. My 14-year-old told me it's weird that I'm on TikTok, but he's like, Dad, my friends watch all your videos. And I said, well, do your friends' parents want to buy houses? Like, let's just pass the message along. But that's the 90-day review. So one of the things that we've done too is the Elite Edge Network is we've built out a community as well. So if you scan that QR code, you can get entered into the community. All this stuff is in there. I shared everything in there with these prompts and the 90-day business plan, and there's more stuff in there that we've come up with this human plus idea. I'm big on emotional intelligence. I'm big on again, we can't control the things that always happen to us. The only thing we can control is how we react to those things. So one of the biggest things I've tried to work on is that exact thing, my emotional intelligence. If you haven't ever read the emotional intelligence book, you should get it and read it. It helps you with clients. It helps you with other agents. It helps you with the dreaded loan officers. I knew I'd get Greg's attention back in there. But the emotional intelligence stuff is super important because it does help you with your negotiation. How am I negotiating? Again, I can only control how I react to situations. I can't always control the situation. So does anybody have questions about anything that we went through? I know I went through it pretty quick, and it's a pretty robust program that I shared with you guys today to get through in an hour, but I felt like this is a very important time of year for all of us to get our ducks in a row, to get everything straightened out, to make sure that 2026 is as excited is excited as it can be. So if you guys got questions or anything, let me know.
Well, now I'm excited for 26. Gotta get on this.
You do got to get on this. I mean, look, there's so much stuff happening. And again, all the signs are pointing towards, if rates drop a little bit, we can get some of these people to move.
Sure.
That's one of the biggest, I think one of the biggest sticky problems for us is that some people aren't ready to move, right? They're afraid of going from that 2 to 3% to that 6 to 7. Well, if I can go from the 2 to 3 to the 5, maybe I'm more willing to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, Greg, do what you have to do to get those down to 5, my man. And let's see what we can do. But I want to share this other one with you all too. It's one of the things I just worked on. Well, when I went over this with like digging deep and discovery with clients and with agents, and I'll throw this in the chat so you guys can go ahead and get this downloaded too, just in a Google Drive. But I went over like some of the mindset and self-discovery too, because that's one of the hardest things that again, this time of year, we're winding down. Maybe you hit your goals, maybe you didn't, maybe you feel like you're behind, maybe you're not. But then how do I keep my mind straight and going forward on all the things? So these prompts will help you with some of that too. So mindset and self-discovery is one of the first ones. And it's, describe how my current sales approach lines or conflicts with the elite edge principles. And again, you can tweak these however any way you'd like to, but I wanted to make sure I shared this with you guys too. So
Thank you.
What questions do you guys have?
I don't have any questions. I just need to buckle down and, it's one thing to say, oh, hey, I want to make 300 grand a year, but how are you going to break that down monthly and then weekly? And are you going to track it? I'm terrible at tracking things. So it's becoming a little bit more disciplined in tracking and holding myself accountable.
Yeah, most definitely. So it's one of the hardest things we do, because then again, we always think we can catch up too.
Yep.
Yes, that is very true.
We always think we can catch up. And we hang out with Marissa for a while. She straightened me out. I mean, look at the calendar behind me, Marissa. Look at that.
Hey,
I got one too.
calendar. I love it. Jimmy, on that note, I know you do these in like 90-day chunks. Is that to help adjust for like the cyclical year, or do you prompt it differently because there are like our cycles and seasons and things? Like how do we factor that into our year and then our quarters if we do have like an abnormally good Q3, Q4, whatever? Or do you tell it like, maybe my Q3 is normally my best, but like I want to try and get ahead this year? Like, how have you prompted something like that before, or worked with someone that like is intentional about looking at their year and planning seasonally?
Yeah. So for like the reason I do the 90 days, right, is because we can't boil the ocean, right? So when I say like I want to do my year, well, like I showed you those numbers for 90 days. Well, if I showed you those numbers for a year, you'd be like freaking out of my mind. Like, no way. It's a very intimidating number. So if we chunk it down into 90, and then like you said, like then it's monthly, then it's why did my hand raise? Then it's but then it's monthly, then it's weekly, then it's daily. Now I can say, all right, well, I just need 30 contacts a day, right? I need to have 3 conversations to change my business. Now it's like, all right, that's not so bad. But if I do it and I say, that's again, that's how you track it. And that's probably the easiest way to track it. Now, again, you can always go. Now, if you have a great quarter, right? Let's say great quarter one, you start implementing this stuff right now and Q1 just blows up. Awesome. Don't hesitate now to just keep going where it's going. You can readjust then in 90 days and say, all right, well, this was my last 90. What's my next 90 going to look like? Right? Because what you'll find is with these 90-day plans, and again, it's any coach or anybody that says this thing out there, there is no easy button. And this 90-day plan will not straighten out your business tomorrow. But if you start it now, it will straighten out your Q1, but then your Q2 will be unbelievable because now you're just going to be in this routine. And again, like we know that every appointment we go on again is not going to close. Every person that says yes to us, I want to buy a house, is not going to have the credit to get a mortgage, right? We already know we're going to have fallout. So again, the more people you're just putting into your pipeline and the more people you're adding to your CRM, the better it is. So yeah, you can adjust on those 90 days, but I just say like, am I going to exceed my goals, right? Then I can adjust next year for that. And I don't have to worry about adjusting it now.
I think the most important part is to measure and track.
Yes, 100%. It's one of the things that most of us don't do. You know what I mean? Or we start out, we have a good idea of it. Marissa, our good friend Austin Chevron talks about that all the time, right? And it's what most of us are bad at. And it's finances, it's tracking, it's taking care of what we do. Most of us are really good at going and getting the next client and going and showing the house, putting the signs out, getting a listing and do it. We're nailing that. And then where's all the money going, right? Where's all that going to? And so when you start tracking it this way, at least again, this is a start to it to say, all right, here's what I'm gonna do it. Then, again, then if investing in that's a whole nother aspect of this, but this is just what am I doing on a daily basis to get to those numbers that I want to reach?
Jimmy, I have a 1 o'clock, so I'm gonna jump, but I personally wanted to thank you because I know you jumped in here and put together this amazing session for us because I asked you to, so I appreciate you doing things when I call upon you and being a good friend and resource for me. Your 90-day planning is better than anyone I've seen, so I'm so glad that you were able to and willing to come in and share that with us and give it to us all just as a resource here that we can all implement. So you made it really easy, really clear, and I appreciate you, my friend.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Go take care of that little baby too. And
yeah, he's snoozing right now. So we need him to keep snoozing until the babysitter gets here.
Yeah, we got to be quiet.
yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll see y'all later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Jimmy. I appreciate it. Basically ditto to what Marissa just said.
A lot of good information. And thank you so much for sharing all of your resources on that link. That is awesome. Now it's just about putting that on my daily routine schedule somewhere and consistently going to it, because otherwise I'll overwhelm myself and I won't do anything. So thank you for giving some tips that will help me to be efficient and consistent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I'll share the if you guys join the community, I'll throw this in there, and then you guys can join the community if you want, and it's free to join the community.
Awesome.
Dan, did you have something you were going to say?
I don't know if you want to hear me.
Oh, I don't. Probably not.
For your group, for the entire group here.
All right, go ahead.
With you. Thank you for when you're gonna start doing this, Nicole. This is I need to know when you're gonna start doing this.
Dan,
we're all guilty. We're all guilty of it.
No.
Dan,
I have I gotta pick up on her.
Dan will call me at the end of the year. He asks me where I'm at on my numbers, where I'm at on my goals. Then we'll talk again in the January. We'll talk throughout the year. He'll just randomly text me, where are you at? Where are you at in your goals? He's my little accountability guy. And of course, my answer is always like, I don't know.
I know.
Let me get back to you. I don't know.
So when you're gonna start working with this one, Nicole and Nikki?
Oh, you're
I'll-
really putting us on the spot.
All right, so this was my goal even before this call. And so
Okay.
I already started making notes and I just
Okay.
emailed my team and I'm going to make them do it too so that we're all doing it together
That's good.
When you're gonna start doing this?
for the first of the year. So we're going to prep, we're going to make our goals and set out outlines so that come January 1, we can start tracking it.
No.
I got a lot of goals for next year.
So
we got to do
so
something.
let me ask you this: if you have a buyer that's gonna ask you that when you ask them when you're gonna buy a house, and they're gonna say next year I'm gonna start it in January, you're gonna take it just for the face value or not?
I'm going to schedule an appointment with them for a buyer consultation for January 1.
Why January, not tomorrow?
Well, because I'm preparing for Christmas. So, and I've got deals that
Hey,
need
Jimmy,
to close
see, there's
before
always
the
an
end of the year.
excuse. There's
So
always an
it's
excuse.
not an excuse, it's realistic. If I'm going to dedicate myself to this, I want to be all in and not distracted. So
You gotta start tomorrow. Actually, even better. You gotta start today. The
I
moment that we
started my
hang up
list. Doesn't
here.
that count? My list count. I put my goal and how many deals I need to do per month for that. That's a start, right?
She already started, Dan. Leave her alone.
Okay, Nicole, tell me you now.
Oh no, back to Nikki. Let's go to Greg. Greg, what's your goal?
Don't worry, Nicole. I'll call you
Oh, I
next
know.
week.
You
I
can
know.
call me too.
I'll call you too.
Okay,
How about
perfect.
it? Yes, sounds good.
Perfect.
Jimmy, thank you very much. It was very good. I got a lot of it out of it too. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you guys. Thanks again for having me. And now go do it today, right? Like
Yes.
put your
That's
Nikes
it.
on and just go do it.
That's it. Yes.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks, guys. We'll
Have
see
a
ya.
great rest of your day.